Welcome to Late Onset Blues Guitar, brought to you by Sestronics. Today's lesson is going to be about building your rhythm clock. I've got I think a neat little lesson for you, and I hope you like this. We don't do long lessons, so I'm not going to get into great detail about what I'm doing, but I will kind of explain what my plan is. So what I was doing originally when we came in, I was playing with my rhythm machine called the Beat Buddy, which I bought, so we're not being sponsored by them. Singular Sound is the name of that company, and an Eros looper. It's their looper, and the reason I like it is it's synced MIDI-wise to the Beat Buddy, so I never get any precessing because I am clumsy when it comes to actually turning on different loops and things, and this allows me to not have any issues with timing. That all being said, so what I was doing was I laid down a bass track, and I actually laid down a rhythm track, and then I went ahead and was playing with the Beat Buddy. And so we had a little bit of blues guitar jamming behind it. This was a 1-4-5 blues in G. And this is really important to know because this is the most basic blues there is. It's a 1-4-5, and this happened to be what they call a shuffle. And the 1-4-5 refers to the number of the chords in the key. So if this is in G, a 1 is a G, 4 is a C, and a 5 is a D. And so this is the foundation, and that's kind of they call that the Nashville numbering system, and I don't know a lot about it, but you're going to hear that a lot at blues jams. If you get up and somebody says, play a 1-4-5 and C with an early 4, that means something, and you'll probably need to know that language, and we'll talk about that at a later date. But what I'm going to do today, because I feel that rhythm is the most important thing you bring to the game. I was out the other day playing and sitting in with some people, and there were actually people leading the song. I didn't know where the beat was, and I happened to be playing bass on that particular gig. It was just very odd, and it's very noticeable by the audience when things don't work. My view of rhythm and melody is that rhythm is probably more important because we started banging on tree stumps with bones a long time before we started making instruments, and I think it's kind of in our DNA, and rhythm errors come out and people feel them. So the most important thing you can do is build your good internal time clock. So to help do that, I'm going to go through a few things. The plan right now is to use the looper and the backing track, and I'm going to get rid of the rhythm track on this. I'm going to mute it, and I'm going to play over it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the rhythm in 3 different styles. But each style, in order to have motion in the rhythm, I will use what they call it's a 1-4 rock. You rock between the 1 and the 4. And then when you go to the C, you're going to rock through the 1 and the 4 of the C. And this gives it a motion. Well, I'm going to do it 3 ways. I'm going to do it very simple, just rocking through the 1 and the 4. And then I'm going to do some blues slides. And then finally, I'm going to use some real short chords that are basically 7th chords in 2 or 3 notes. And we can talk about those, and I will talk about those at a later date. But I want to show you some options that you could have when you're playing rhythm, because the more you play rhythm, the better you get, the more motion you get, the more interesting it is to play across, and the more interesting for other players. And I really like harmonic motion during my rhythms. So let me set up the Eros looper. Perfect. That's what I wanted to do, is get that rhythm track off. So now you hear the Beat Buddy and you hear the bass guitar. So I'm going to play over it. I'm going to start now with the 1-4. You notice in one of those little verses I made a mistake and had to go ahead and switch the chords. On a live set, that won't be very noticeable as long as you stay in the rhythm feel of this. I've been working a while on my time clock, so I feel rhythm in a way that's kind of broken up in 16th notes, which is the way you really want to play. You want to feel all these underlying beats. So one of the things I want to go through today is, aside from showing you how you can play when you have somewhat of a feel for the guitar, is an exercise that helps you play that way. I'm going to pull out a little bit of mids, because mids and rhythm don't always go together. If you want to have a nice sounding rhythm, you want to have it like an acoustic strum, and that's what you do when you pull the mids. So I've kind of got that going. And this is an exercise that I think will help you, because it certainly helped me. And this builds what I call your micro time. There's macro time, which has to do with changing chords on the right beat. And that comes with playing with records and playing live with bands and listening to the chord changes as they come through and making sure you're playing in timing, hitting them at the right time. But in between all this is what I call micro time. And the micro time is playing across a measure and having the measure be steady. So one of the exercises that I like to use a lot was presented by Ross Bolton in his Funk Guitar Part 1. Ross is a fabulous, fabulous funk guitar player, and this exercise has really served me well, and I hope you guys will also try this and put this into your daily practice routine. It's going to feel real weird when you first start, but it's going to be better as time goes on. So this exercise is based on the 16th notes. And 16th notes are counted on each beat as 1 2 3 So there's the 1 and it repeats. So if I was going to go through a 4-beat measure, we go 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 So you break up that one measure into 16 different strums, if you will, but the time of those has to be consistent. And to do that, this is the recommendation. You play in, this happens to be an E7th chord. This is a nice chord because it allows you to kind of dry strum and mute the strings, which is part of what this is about. So if you were to go 1 2 1 2 3 4 that's your basic underlying beat. Now this exercise, you could play all the beats, which is kind of like pretty nonsensical, but you could do that to get started. This is not only a rhythm thing, but it also gives you a look into muting. And I'm muting both with the palm of my hand. I'm muting also by letting up on the strings on this note. So this is going to get you more in contact with your guitar. So what this exercise is to walk through the beats in the 16th note strum consistently. By the way, I'm using a different pick than I was. This is a little lighter pick and allows the string tension to be looser in your hand. And I am anchoring my arm, like I talked about in our first lesson, on this edge of the guitar. Now we're going to emphasize the different beats of the pattern. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a. We're going to emphasize the second beat. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Oh, now we're going to emphasize the and. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now we're going to emphasize the last beat, which is the 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. And you can combine these in any way you want to. I like to start with the 1, then go to the E, then the and, then the walk through, and you can walk backwards and forwards. It is a really tough coordination exercise, but once you get this under your fingers, you're going to be a much better player and have a much better rhythm clock. Anyway, thank you very much for listening today. Sestronics is proud to sponsor this, and we will have another lesson in a few weeks. Thank you very much.